All right, here we go. Today we have OG Neckbone from Mob Piru doing his first ever interview. Neckbone was close to Tupac during his time at Death Row and was involved in the fight at the MGM with Tupac and Orlando Anderson, which unfortunately led to Tupac's death a few hours later. Neckbone, welcome to VladTV.
What's up, Vlad? Thank you.
Well, I want to start in the very beginning. Grew up in Compton.
Yep, grew up in Compton.
So you were born in 1964.
Yep.
So this is before the gangs and everything else like that.
It's always been gangs, it just wasn't Crips and Bloods.
Okay, because originally there were the Piru Street Boys.
Yes, sir, Piru Street Boys, one of the original gangs of Compton before the Crips.
That was what, 72?
They was in like 69.
69?
Because it was just a street.
Aha,
You know
Piru
what I'm
Street.
saying? It was just Piru Street, and it was the people that lived around in that street, the young brothers that lived around in that area. Then it spread it out. It had spread it out through Compton, but it wasn't a red and blue thing going on yet, even though they said blood, because blood was just the basic word. You know, they came back from Vietnam, everybody saying blood and young blood, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that was the basic word for just about every black it was at the time for a little second.
Right. When did the Crips start showing up in Compton?
Around 72, 71, 72.
Okay.
They was wild too.
And originally the Crips and the Bloods were cool.
When they came to Compton, it was a mingle thing. Like everybody was trying to be cool a little bit, but the Crips, they just swept. And the more people you got and the more areas you take over, the more power you get. You know what I'm saying? So it became a situation where they was at odds because y'all ain't running this way, y'all ain't running us. But we let y'all in, it's conflict now. You know what I'm saying? So it just didn't work out.
Okay.
With the Piru Street Boys and the Crips, it just didn't work out.
Was there something that sparked the beef between the Crips and the Bloods during that time?
Well, like I say, the Crips took over a lot of stuff. It was a lot of blood hoods already. Then the Crips came and took over a lot of stuff. They swept the nation. You got a generational movement thing type going, you know what I'm saying? Still going on today. Certain generations, like, they decided you got certain blood gangs was already there. Then when the Crips came out, they was automatically like, okay, well, this ain't gonna work because they clashing. We want this and they want that, so they fighting. They doing a lot of fighting and struggling, you know what I'm saying? It just control areas, Los Angeles and Compton, but it took place in Los Angeles because it was right around the corner from my grandma. My grandma stayed on 83rd between Wadsworth and Central.
Okay, so you met Suge in 7th grade.
Well, I was in the 7th grade, he was in the 6th grade.
Okay. He was a little younger.
He was younger.
Yeah.
About the same, it's still like the same though.
Right.
Yeah.
So over the years, were you guys around each other a lot or not really?
Well, in our neighborhood, kids came out and played. And like I came from going to Mark Twain Elementary around the corner. I didn't really get to grow up with the foster kids. You know, the name of the elementary was Foster. Not that they was foster kids. The name of the elementary was Stephen Foster. I went to Mark Twain. That was like two schools that had one side of the neighborhood, and they school had the other side of the neighborhood. So once I got in the 7th grade, I started blending in with the kids that went to Foster Elementary. Because I was going up there playing around, you know, after school. Then I went to Whaley with all them kids that came from Foster Elementary, and some came from Little Roosevelt Elementary. So that's how I got familiar, and we would be up at Foster playing, having fun. We'd be at the park swimming, kids running around the neighborhood, because now I'm on this side of the neighborhood where Suge and them grew up at. It's all one neighborhood, but it was split in half by the elementaries.
Did you know Keefe D around this time too?
I met Keefe D around about the 8th grade, playing Pop Warner football.
Okay, around the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I played with the big boys. I was a little guy playing with the big boys. They was all playing pee-wees, and I was playing junior band when I was 12. But I knew of everybody because my relatives played Whitty, Simon Goss, Kenny Goss. You know what I mean? My uncle, Simon Goss Sr., helped start Greater Compton football. So that's a whole nother intimate in Compton through sports we knew a lot of people from on that side of town when we was kids, before everybody started gang banging.
Well, originally it was Looters Park, Piru. Right?
Originally it was Piru Street.
Right.
Piru Street went hooked up with Looters Park.
Aha.
And became Looters Park Piru.
Got it. Now, in Looters Park, Piru, there was a clique called Mob.
Yeah, okay, on our side, you got the park on one side of Rosecrans, and you had Looters Park on our side of Rosecrans. But within that Looters Park vicinity on our side of Rosecrans, we had some guys that was about straight money. And one of them was like pushing a line about the money. So, you know, his family was affiliated with Pirus in the neighborhood, youngsters though. You know what I'm saying? And he teamed up with them and put them in the game and showed how to get some real money. So that's when the mob started. Big Teddy, the one started the mob, but he didn't start Mob Piru, but it was Pirus involved, little youngsters.
Okay, so eventually that became Mob Piru.
As the generations went past, it was Eastside Mob, but we was Eastside Pirus too. But the clique was small. Our neighborhood was Looters Park, and we had formed Mob Piru from just the homies that was the mob. And as generations went on, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. As the kids started growing up, more of the youngs start gravitating toward the mob.
Right, and you're one of the original Mob Piru members?
I'm like a between first and second generation. I was there when the first generation was doing their thing. I watched them and learned from them. I sit back and observe and be around them, and they was pretty tough, and they took on the mentality of being from the mob, which was like money Pirus, you know what I'm saying? Before everybody was trying to make money, that's how it was. So I was being a part of that just from looking at them and knowing them. And then I started participating in activities because I wanted money and I wanted, you know what I mean? But we running into situations with Crips. You know what I'm saying? Everything on that side, we didn't get along with them. So we Pirus, all our big brothers, they was Pirus, so it all formulated into Mob Piru. But it all started as the mob, just a little clique in Looters Park on our side of the tracks.
So you were around 15 years old when you joined?
Well, I can't even say I joined because it wasn't like it was a gang and I seen the gang and said, I want to be a part of y'all. We all grew up in it together.
Aha.
You know what I'm saying? We went from phases in life together.
So you never jumped in or anything else like that?
Nah, I wasn't jumped in because I had too many fights. You know what I'm saying? That's how I got jumped in, fighting. Because that's how they gonna test you in the neighborhood. They gonna test you, and your name gonna be understood to be a certain type of individual. You know what I'm saying? And you gonna take on the responsibilities of the neighborhood, and you gonna prove that. And once you prove that, ain't no jumping. That's your jumping. I jump in took years. It wasn't just no, okay, let's go whoop his ass. Now you're part of the gang. No, you had to be raised and orientated to be a part of where we come from. To be a real one.